tell you thank you enough for that, sir.
Well, it's a blessing because us partnering together. It's more about unity because we got some people out here that we can unify, and it's not so much
Yes,
what
sir.
we can do as adults. It's I think it's making sure we can make our next generation. I hate to use a corn phrase. Our children are our future, but God damn it, they are. Let's make it
That's
simple.
real.
The real talk is that I know I had to get to school. I know I had to find ways to get to school, and I found ways to do what I got to do. But if we can pass knowledge on down, my mother used to always say, plant seed. If you're gonna be a strong tree, drop seed so everyone else can grow. And I think Darriel Mack is probably one of those kids that has picked up that seed and is growing. So
Most
let's
definitely.
talk about what Darriel is, and then we're gonna ask Darriel why he is what he is because, as a young buck and young man, he's got a long haul right here, but he's got people behind him now.
Hmm. Man, Doc, I could start out, man, from when we first met Darrell, man. We came through some very credible people, man. We was having this conversation before too about HBCU guys and
Yep.
the diamonds in the rough. And we was our last talk, man. It's so crazy. The last time I was on your show, we was talking about this, and here we have right now, Mr. Darriel Mack, man. I'm talking about an All-American credentialed guy from an HBCU school, man. And I really honestly feel, and I've told Darrell this, man. I feel in my heart, man. If we were the guy coming right out of college and had the opportunity to expose him to special invites with the Reese's Bowl, different, bowls, invites to rookie camps and stuff. I really feel he will be in the NFL, man. I'm just being from an HBCU school, man. I kind of feel as though that he was like overlooked. If he'd have been at the University of Alabama, and I know it sounds so cliche,
But
Doc.
but
I
it
know it is
is. But it's true. I mean, we need to talk
all the time.
about why HBC schools are not looked at because that's Darryl. That is not your issue, but it is an issue on the larger scale
That's
that
right.
HBC schools are not taken as legitimate, talented schools to come from.
And if I could add this, Doc, I mean it's so crazy for those that know the NFL history. One of the most prestigious awards that's given away in the NFL is the Walter Payton Award.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that fraternity is, I mean, it's damn near bigger than being a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? You to be a part of that fraternity, the Walter Payton fraternity, man, is like
It's
it
huge.
speaks volumes of the players because it's not only a contribution to what they do on the field, but also off that. But along with me saying that, I mean, this guy that we're giving this most prestigious award to, a lot of people don't know, man. Walter Payton is an HBCU guy.
Jackson
Jackson
State.
State. He came from the HBCU guy. And then, I mean, you want to get a little deeper than that. One of the top receivers to this day, and in my mind, shit, one of the best receivers to play the game, Jerry Rice,
There you go.
HBCU guy.
HBC school.
Sir. And it's and I had to bring that up, because I said it's cliche, but you got a guy like Mr. Darriel Mack, man, and it ain't no doubt in my mind. And he been with Coach Saban or one of those guys, and I was just talking to Darriel earlier, because he'll also be speaking with Mr. Leon Searcy, University of Miami, Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler. He'll be speaking with Mr. Searcy next, and I was just telling him, man, you gotta use that experience, man. You can't let that be something that holds you back. It got to be something that moves you forward. Miami, Hall of Famer,
Oh,
Pro Bowler. He'll be speaking.
go ahead. I'm listening to you, Bobby.
Yeah. So with Darrell, man, I just really feel as though. I mean, and honestly, I had a chance to see him myself. I watched film, and I see a lot of kids film, man. But it's one thing to see them in person. And we had our NFL Pro Star Combine Showcase, man, and Darrell was just, nobody could stop him. And you talking about some of these guys did play D1. Some of these players weren't D1 players, you know what I'm saying? But there was no competition to him. So I really say to the NFL coaches and scouts and all of that, and it's getting a little better, but it's kind of like racism and discrimination. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you know, we've come a long ways with discrimination, but we still got so far to go. And it's the same thing with the HBCU and recruit. You know, they'll say things and do things, and I think the asset to it now, Doc, is you're having a lot of these African American coaches who's like scouts and recruiters and things like that understand the core talent that's coming from these HBCU schools.
So now, Darriel, first let's tell us what you do, what your athlete, you know, what your skill set is, and then we'll go from that because it matters to people that you are, you know, coming from an HBC school. Guess what it tells me and maybe tells others. You are an educated brother.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, man, you got your head on straight. But then there, you know, it's funny because you wonder, do they want a good athlete or do they want a great athlete with a head on his shoulders? And you coming from an HBC school, you already got a great head on your shoulders. And even if you are just a good athlete, I'd rather have you on my team than any other knucklehead coming from some school who's doing 120 miles an hour down the highway in a car. So, Darriel, tell us about yourself.
Well, to start, from a little rural town in South Carolina. No one knows of it. I'm not even gonna say it. But I found North Carolina A&T in 2013. I was graduating. I didn't know any. My high school didn't really teach us about HBCUs. So when I found A&T, I just fell in love with it, and it was a great place. And then when I got to playing football has taught me more lessons than I learned outside of football. So yeah, just A&T has been great to me.
Now, you coming from a small school in South Kakalaki is something most people don't know. That's what we call those people. Yeah, you said South Carolina like people know what the hell you talking about. And if a lot of people don't know, in South Carolina, they got some. You're not from one of the islands off of South Carolina. They don't even call it state anymore, do you?
Oh no. I'm actually hooked up to some places, so I'm not an island.
Good. So you know what did you guys call those people that lives on the island?
If you wanna, that's around the Charleston area, Disney Head. Those all, well, I've heard them called Geechee. To any Charleston people that may be listening, hey, I love y'all, but that's what.
But that's what you guys are called, Geechee. So, Darriel, what did you study in school?
Criminal justice. I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Okay, so let's go backwards. The NFL is not there. What are you doing? Because that's, you know, I think the false problem is that people put their heads in one direction, and I know your head is in three different directions. Not only what you could do or what you can do, but what you're gonna do. That's the three different directions that a young brother coming from a school like you did has that already in his mindset. So let's go about what you're gonna do that, you know, without the NFL.
I had coming out of all through college. I always had a plan, and then a backup plan, then a backup plan.
See?
So I was gonna try to pursue football, but then football fell through. So I was like, well, I can go take my degree and go be a police officer because I want to go federal law enforcement. So I was gonna be like, start as a police officer, then work up. But then that fell through. So I was like, oh, I have another plan, but it's not really ideal. Military is always one.
Okay.
But I actually want to work on. I have a full-time now in Cumming, Georgia, and it's as a resident technician for drug rehabilitation, and that's actually working out pretty well. But if all else fails, my family is a Navy family, so Navy was always an option.
So now let's get into the NFL. Let's get you there because that's what Bobby Morgan's doing, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're reaching out. We're going to get you into these combines, but tell us your skill set on the football field because most of these people are going to now compare you to not just maybe your films, but only you know what you really got. And this is not about being modest; it's about being humble. But the fact is, once you step on the field, you got to run some people over, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us the skill set.
Well, I played center all through college,
Right.
and so I'm smart for one, very smart. I watch a lot of film. I study, so that way I pick up on little things during the game. I can lead. I led my offensive line very well at A&T. You can go check the books on that one. And one of my I interact well, and I interact well, adjust well to change. Like whenever we go over defense in practice, but then we get in the game and that doesn't work out. So I have to think on the fly. So I'm good at thinking on the fly. That's one of the things. As a matter of fact, one of my best friends is a starting tackle for the Raiders, Brandon Parker.
Okay.
He was on my offensive line.
Yep.
He is. Me and him, we ran the offensive line at North Carolina A&T.
So now let me ask you something because on the football question, because this is a football show tonight, Bobby, we got a football player here, so we're gonna throw some numbers at him. So
There you go.
what defense don't you like to block?
3-4.
Now tell me why the 3-4 gives you so much trouble. Is it because normally that down nose is not usually straight on top of you? He plays off your shoulder?
That's it. He's straight on top of me now. And one thing about with pass protection, like usually if it's a 4 down, I have to slide. I don't have and I have time to either get over to a 3 technique.
Okay.
I can put my hand up on a backside shade or a 1 technique. But now if I'm in a 3, if I'm encountering a 3 down defense, that nose tackle is directly over me, so I have to do everything faster. That kind of messes me up sometimes. But at the same time, I adjust because I have to.
You have to.
Everything starts with me.
Right.
So with everything start with me, from snapping the ball to the cadence to making the calls, I have to adjust and know, well, my guards are going to take a little bit of time. So now I got to hold this guy a little bit longer.
Right.
And also, it's so much stuff that can come out of a 3-4 defense. But eventually I adjust, so it all comes natural.
Okay. Now, with the 3-4, right, and you have the nose straight on top of you, they usually try to bring up that free safety to try to throw you off with a double blitz, right? They try to bring that free safety off to the offside and bring that linebacker to shade you a little bit. Now what if you're moving to the right side? What kind of blocking protection do you call then?
One thing that helps me out is you have to look where the safety is.
There it is.
I've been there. I watch a lot of film. I would always start to know whenever a safety is capped, whenever the linebacker is capped.
Yeah.
It means the safety is going to cover him, and the linebacker is blitzed. And most of the time, it's fake. So I always be like, hey, that's a fake. No safety over the top. He has to drop back to cover. So more than likely, I'm going to have to 9 times out of 10, I have to bring my right. You said if I'm sliding to the right, right?
Yep, slide to the right.
If I have to bring my left guard anyway. So that nothing should really change. We just pick up whoever comes on that side because we're looking to that side. So whoever comes, no matter safety, linebacker, corner, coach, referee, we have to pick everybody.
Little boots, man.
Yeah, man.
Little boots.
So now,
Hey, man, I'm telling you.
So now let's get some dimensions because we're on camera and we're doing this and we're not going to have you stand up and do the 40, but what's your strength? What's your size? What are you pushing? What type of center blocks do you carry in your pocket? What do you got?
Well, 6'3", right now I'm 335.
Okay.
I actually want to drop a few. Thanksgiving came and Christmas came, and I ate.
Hey, but I can't listen, man. I can't say this though, man. I seen him play, and he know how to carry his weight. He's not like no fat guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's solid. You hear me? I mean, he's a brick. You know what I mean?
So now you want to get faster? There's a reason why you want to drop weight, or do you want to get quicker?
Both would be helpful on the field either way.
Okay.
That's one thing that I think both those things are elements of the game that everyone needs to work on.
So now, how fast you run the 40?
If I hadn't run 40 in a while, I mean, back in the day, I could run a 4.5, but that's this. But no, really, maybe around the 5.4.
Okay.
5.5.
So I know before we get you into your pro day in the combine, I'm going to talk to Bobby, and we're going to do this off air. We're definitely going to get you down to a 5. That's
okay.
That you will do, because even and the thing is, it's funny because why do linemen have to prove the 40 speed? They don't. They got to have quick feet, and you know that. So I can give a shit how fast you can run down the field. But if your feet gotta be quick to go for that 3 yard between that box, that's really what I need you to do. Especially if you want to, pull around a corner or stay in front of your quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you're gonna go to a pro day. What kind of team do you think you like to be on an NFL team? What team is that?
When you say what team, could you explain?
Yeah, like what NFL team do you see out there? Those other 30+ teams that you could see yourself fitting right in.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Any NFL team that could use a lineman, I can move, so I can pull, I can pin and pull, which is one of my favorite plays.
The pin and pull?
I love to pull. Yeah, love to pull. They used to pull me at center all the time at A&T. But any offense where I can run, where I can pull, trap, I could really honestly fit in any offense. I just have to give me maybe a day or two, a week maybe to learn the plays, and I'll be all right.
So now with schools, with kids, what is some of the trouble kids are having in school as an athlete? Because one, you're an athlete. You're a student first. Second, you're an athlete. What are some of the problems that you have seen that you overcame yourself that you didn't have any, like you're like, man, I need help, and you reached out your hand and got help? What were some of those problems?
I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I never really had many problems in school or on
Man, you heard him say he a Navy kid, man. You know his pops ain't finna have that, man. But like from what I've seen, and I played football. I've been an athlete since I was 8. I'm 24 now. From what I've seen is, I always say, is you have to buy into. Like coaches always say, you have to buy into the program.
Mm-hmm.
So that means doing everything right by the athletic program. But most kids now today, when they be like, oh, I'm a student athlete, they don't buy into the student part of being a student athlete.
There it is. That's true. That's real.
That's it.
So,
hey, Doc, he got 2 championships too. He ain't even told you about, Doc. Hey, you got your rings, man. He got that jewelry too, Doc.
My ring's in the car.
Your ring's in the car.
Yeah, I mean, I could come downstairs and grab them, but
man, you better put those rings someplace. Some of these homies may end up taking those 2 rings from you.
Oh no, I ain't worried about that.
Who got that jewelry, Doc? How many championships you got, man?
I have 4 rings, so I have 2 conference championships and 3 conference championships and 2 Celebration Bowl titles.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Hey, look, man, he's a beast, man. I'm telling you, man. And it's just so sad, man. Him being from the HBCU, because I'm gonna tell you, man. Had he been televised, like real coaches know what to look for, like
Yeah.
Leon Cersei, man. That's my man. And he'll be talking to Leon next, man. And they'll tell you, man. They have certain techniques and things that they look for in these guys, man. That it's just crazy, man. And I just got to say this just flat out, man. It's crazy that the stigma over an HBCU player, and I was just talking to, Mr. Mack, like, why can't a good player just be a good player?
Right.
Why do it have to be a good player from the SEC or the Big Ten or the Pac? Or,
right.
Why can't he just, if it's a good player, be a good player? But I'm going to tell you, Doc, what we're putting together, man, this first HBCU All-Star Showcase, and that's what my combine joints is all about, man, because we're going to have players like Darriel Mack, and you'll have like second-tier D1 guys or guys who is outshadowed like University of Alabama, these D1 schools who's going to compete with top HBCU players. So now you have the opportunity, because that's the whole stigma, man. And this bowl that I'm putting together, the Anaya Bowl, it's after named after my granddaughter, Anaya, the first Anaya Bowl.
Oh, wow.
But what it does, Doc, is it allows us, we're going to have like the top HBCU guys. We'll have like D1 guys. So you have a lot of the D1 guys watching TV like, man, I could have did this better than this D1 guy. And typically it's because of the grade, man. In a lot of cases, a lot of these guys that's been recruited from these Division I schools that's playing HBC, for the most part, a lot of them is because they're not academically eligible, or they haven't met the ACT or SAT requirements to get into these D1 schools. It's not that they don't have the skill set. So if I create this Naya Bowl here, where we take these HBCU guys and we got these D1 guys, and we're also going to acknowledge HBCU greats, and it's so crazy, man, because I had a conversation with the NFL guys in the NFL, and I had mentioned towards Commissioner Goodell's in this office and all of those people, man.
Yep.
It's so crazy. I was talking to them about the HBCU and, the need to recognize the HBCU guys. And this was one of the Super Bowls. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, but it was like the first Super Bowl that I remember. But the NFL, and it's documented. You can go and look it up. Yeah, they had a panel where they had the HBCU guys. They recognized. This probably wasn't no more than like 3-4 years ago, man. It was right around the time that I was talking to them about recognizing. They put them up on the stage and all the HBCU greats. It's documented.
What
it's crazy, man.
What did Roger Goodell say? What did they?
It wasn't so much the commissioner and those guys. The commissioner's office and everybody was on board. They were open to it, but it's just the fact that the dialogue within itself, it just didn't go in the way that I expected it to go. But it was kind of died down after a while. But then I look up again, and here it is. They're acknowledging. And my thing is, man, I don't give a damn about taking credit, man. I'm not a guy that, you see how dark I am on this screen right now? You can hardly see me.
You're the original black man.
No, but all jokes aside, man, I didn't care how the guys got the recognition, man, as long as they received it,
I know, Bobby. You're doing so much, and there's other people like the Keywan was talking last night on my radio show, and how much he's doing for these kids too.
That's my guy, man.
There's so much work out here, and when schools are being segregated, and that's really what it's coming down to, about who gets watched and who gets picked from. Now, there's thousands of schools, so we can't watch all these kids. So it's people like you that puts these kids in front of the places and people they need to see. Now, when are you having this bowl, Bobby?
Well, we're working on it right now, man. I'm getting all the sponsorship. We had people that came to table as far as the monies and stuff, man.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't in alignment with my visions and ideologies, Doc. It was about the money to them. And this is something, man, that I have grandfather clause for 100 years, man. This will go on well after I'm dead and gone. You know, it's that's the reason it's the inalienable behind my granddaughter, man. So it's something, man, that I have quite a few people already on board with it, man. I already got the coaches, man. We got coaches from the NFC, AFC. I got like over 20 coaches already. You know, I got Leon Searcy. I've already spoken to my man's on the talk show, not Ryan Cameron, man. Tom Joyner, Mr. Tom Joyner.
Okay.
The voice, Tom Joyner.
Yep.
I've already spoken to Mr. Tom Joyner and his son. You know, so you know Tom Joyner is HBCU. Shit, man, I received money from the Tom Joyner Foundation at Morehouse College. So, you know, I reached out to Mr. Tom Joyner. They're on board. TV One, those guys are interested, man, during the time. I also found out the Steve Harvey Foundation, those guys have a foundation where they would like to get involved, man. I heard it's a possibility to have those guys. He has a real big mentoring program. So it's really just started growing bigger, man. Obviously, you know, me being a Morehouse alumni, I'll have Morehouse involved. But I got a lot of guys, man, that's just coming together. And I have my legal team, man, Royals Law Firm. So it's just important for me, Doc. I could have had it already. You know, we're going to have the Battle of the Bands.
But you want to do it right.
But Doc, that's the most. It's not about just doing this so we can showcase the HBCU kids that play against the D1 kids.
Right.
There's a lot that's behind the scenes, man. We're going to give rings and jackets to our first induction class. As I can share it at the top of my head, man, we have Walter Payton, Sterling Sharp, Mr. Robert Brazil, which I say I commend the commissioner, the NFL, and the whole Hall of Fame. We a big push on, man. We was behind Mr. Brazil. I told Mr. Brazil up there in Mobile, Alabama, I told you, Mr. Brazil, it was going to happen, man. But salute and congratulations to
you got some
finally doing what was right, man.
Now, you know, there's a couple things that people, before you get all these black people in one place, is what food are you serving?
Hey, man, listen.
Hey, you can get anybody you want. You better tell me what food you got.
Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that, man. We gonna keep it cool. Hey, but you know, a lot of black people, we gotta have some ribs.
We gotta have some ribs, man.
Hey, but now, all jokes aside, but it won't just be all blacks too. And I want to clear that. With all jokes aside, it's very important that I mention that. Am I clear, Doc? Can you hear me here, man?
Yeah, I can.
I want to make sure, man, that this isn't just for
black kids.
Guys.
No, I know.
Even though it's important for me to make sure that, you know, guys like we have here, Mr. Mack, and those
Darriel
guys
Mack,
who's not getting that opportunity to be showcased. But, I mean, you have white boys out there, man, that just overlook or underlook. You Mexican boys. I mean, you got some Italians out there. You got Jews playing sports for the first time.
But there's just kids. There's just kids being overlooked. Now, I'm going to ask Darriel this question too. Now, do you feel you were overlooked, or do you feel your skill has not been? No one has seen you yet. Which one? I think there's a distinctive difference, Darriel, that you were overlooked or you just have not been seen.
I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't been seen.
And I'm going to agree with you.
I'm going to take you back to.
And I second that.
I went to Bob. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I went to do my pro day at North Carolina A&T, and I had to sit out because of a shoulder surgery.
Okay.
That I had a month before. And I remember the coach. He was the coach, Patriots offensive line coach, Coach Skerneckia. He's a great guy. He walked up to me and Brandon and introduced himself, said he'd be working us out. And when I told him I had surgery on my shoulder, he said, I don't think it's a good idea for you to go because I don't want you to get hurt.
Right.
which made a lot of sense. But I was sitting there, I was like, I can
And
showcase
tell
my
him where your
skill.
boy at. Tell him where your boy at now. Where he playing
The
at?
Raiders.
Oh, yeah, the Raiders. Brandon Parker. That's my best friend. But then Brandon chimed in and was like, "Hey, Max, sit out this one." So I feel like I didn't get a chance to showcase my skill, show that I can move, show that I can hit a bag without hurting myself with playing through injury. Because I'm going to be completely honest, those two, we call it the HBC National Championship. I won both of those on an injury.
Wow.
I played 2015 on a broken foot.
And if I could interject too for a second here, it's important too for the record, Doc, to know for all of the scouts and everything, he has been cleared. We have all his clearances, all of his medical and everything is available. But it's very important for the record for me to let everyone know that all
Because
his medical
you know,
clearances is
I'm glad you
available.
mentioned that, Bobby. Because after he was going to tell me how he played on injury, and I'm glad he's able to, I'm going to ask him what the injury was. What was the injury to the shoulder?
Torn labrum, torn rotator cuff.
Okay, how did you tear it? Was it a fall or was it a pull?
I actually, to be honest, I can't tell you because the doctor couldn't even. He wasn't sure how I tore it because he said he didn't see how I was still playing on.
Okay. Well, all right. I would love to, because you know I love the physical thing and then the anatomy and the kinesiology that goes right into my skull. I start to see it but so I'm glad.
Nah, he's for real with that. Hey, he ain't joking about that. Hey, Doc, hey, Mac, he's serious, man. When it comes to like the mental and everything, man, that's why we're dealing with him. He's really helping us with the vets, you know. And
wow.
that's what me and Doc, man. No, all jokes aside, man. He's tough, man, with the karate, fighting, the mental, the mind, the body, the soul. No, all jokes aside, man. Actually, I introduced him. Doc, and I want to tell you thank you again, man. I introduced him to a Super Bowl champion that he actually had on his show with the Giants, my man. You know, and you got to watch the show to see. I ain't going to tell you, but I introduced him to, and this is a true story, man. For anybody that's listening, man. And Doc, I just really commend you, man, because this is a testament to what we were talking about.
Right. How
we will be able to help the veterans and the guys, the correlations to CTE and PT. Matt, this is real talk, man. We was at the actual Pro Bowl, and my man was experiencing things because it started getting a lot noisy and everything, you know, and he's an older guy. You know, I'm not going to mention his name. It's my man. And he was getting ready to walk out, and I introduced him to Doc. I was like, you know, Doc, look, this is somebody you need to talk to. I told him, I said, talk to Doc, man. And man, they just got to talking, man, and this is the honest to God truth, man. The next day, you know, I talked to my brother, man, and he was like, listen, man, he really saved me, man. He was like, you just don't understand, man. You know what I was thinking, how I was feeling. But after I talked to Doc, I felt a lot better. And I just started, it just really was a confirmation from a higher power to me.
Right.
Because, I mean, like with me and Doc, with you, Mr. Mack, it's not coincidental. We actually had this conversation, man. You know, we were actually talking about HBCU players and the recruiting of them, going to when I was on his airing before. And, you know, the same thing what we was talking about, the PTSD, finding the correlation between that and CTE and how we help the veterans and the players. And it come to fruition right there at the Pro Bowl in Orlando, Florida. So, Doc, I commend and thank you for that too, man.
It's a God's blessing that we do the work we do because my life is about passion, purpose, and intent. So me being in front of you, Darriel, I find it a gift because I know where you can be because I trust Bobby, right? He saw you play. You wouldn't be in front of me if he did not believe in you. That's the truth. We're not talking about the other stuff because anyone could run up and down the field. That's the truth. And there are thousands of kids that was going to be able to run up and down the field. But you must be something special if Bobby's is talking in your ear. And I trust him. The brother is love for me. And we're going to get you where you need to go. Or we're going to have someone say, you're just not good enough. And if that's the case, then let us know. But for you to not be seen because of the school you come from is a travesty. And that's just the case. And like Bobby said, that's just the case with all these kids. This is not just about black kids, whatever. These are about kids not being able to be seen because they're literally segregated out of the combine. They're not, and you know what? I don't know who's putting it together, but it almost seems like you got to be on a special list to get in there. And I've worked combines before, and I've worked it on the back end when I hold the clipboard and do the testing. So I don't have anything to do with the business back end, but it sounds like there's a business issue, not a player issue, and not a talent issue.
It is. Doc, it goes even deeper than that, man. Like what you're talking, we was having a talk yesterday with my man, and you know it's another topic, but it goes back to high school. And you look at the all-black schools. It's a big thing here in Georgia right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you have like the Maynard Jacksons and the MLKs and you know the predominantly black schools, man. It's another situation in Mobile, Alabama.
Right.
I talked to the coaches up there where you got the BC Reigns and you know those schools. It's the same thing even in Montgomery, Alabama, where you got Carver High School. You know, these predominantly black schools, and that's something that I do, man, and try to help them raise money, man. And it's so crazy because I just gave you like 2-3 different states, and they're all experiencing the same problem. They don't have the money for the equipment. Some of these coaches, man, have had helmets for 4 or 5 years. You know, where the cushion is no longer in the helmet. Some of the shoulder pads, man, you know,
That's
no
crazy.
longer have the cushion in the shoulder pad. I mean, but it's the truth, Doc. And, you know, some of the pads these guys are hitting on, they're taking second down, third hand-me-down equipment and stuff where they don't even have the proper equipment to practice. So it goes back to high school, too. You know, when you have these kids in these schools, but then what happened, it's just fortunate that some of these coaches, man, from these D1 schools figured it out a long time ago. You know, that's where they're going to go to get their talent. You know, University of Miami, my man's Leon Searcy and those guys. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, those coaches out there years ago. You know what, Leon Searcy, look at what they did, man. Them guys won 3 national championships out there. But what did they do? They figured it out. We're not going to Nebraska. We're not going to Chicago.
Yeah.
We're going to go right inside of our own neighborhood.
Yeah, our own backyard.
If we can keep our players from the Florida area right here in Florida, and look what they did. So that's what some of these D1 coaches is figuring out, man. You know, that's their little so-called secret recipe going into these HBCU schools or, you know, high schools where they're predominantly black and recruiting them. But you are right, Doc. It is a list. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a secret society, man. You know, you got to have your kid, just like AU basketball. You know, you got to be on the CP3 or you got to play with the LeBron James team or, you know, you got to be with the Adidas All-American camp or you got to be on the McDonald's All-American camp. And it's sad, man, because when you got, you know, guys like Walter Payton and Jerry Rice who, you know, didn't have to do all of those things, man. It was just recognized because they had good talent.
It was a different time and a different place, and I know that the NFL is about puzzle pieces now. It used to be the best player on the field. Now it's about can the piece fit the puzzle now? You know, I need you. I got to play this team five times a year in the next 5 years, and this guy is retired. You know, it's all these puzzle pieces. So I don't want you to be discouraged, Darriel. Before we sign off here, Darriel, what would you like us to know as your next being an NFL prospect? What would you like to say about you that most people don't know that you think will make a difference?
For one, I can't play. I've been coached by NFL. I've had coaches that have played in NFL. My offensive line coach, my last 2 years of college was Ronald Mattis. He played with the Seahawks, the Cowboys, and the Bears, I want to say. And before him, I had Coach Keith Wagner, who is one, and he played with the Cowboys, Giants, NFL, Europe, Jaguars, Redskins. He was all over. So I do want to say that I can play because those guys, those two coaches for one, have helped me grow as a person and not only as a football player, but as a man. So, and also, uh, just be on the lookout for Return of the Mac.
Hey, Doc, if I could, man, before we get out, man, I want to say, man, it's an honor to have guys like, Darriel Mack, man, on my Arsenal, man, and on my team. I have NFL legends, greats, Pro Bowlers, Hall of Fame, you name it, that I represent, man. Super Bowl champions, and I look at Mack no different than those guys, man, because, he's the type of man, that's going to win on and off the field. If a guy like Darriel Mack don't go to the NFL, it's not going to stop him from being successful. He's
Right.
still going to help a young man come up and be somebody.
No doubt.
So have those type of men on your team that's going to win on and off field. That's what I mean when I tell people like, man, we're not losing. You know what I'm saying? We'll lose. If Darriel Mack don't go to the NFL, it's not going to stop him from being successful. I mean, did you hear his dreams and ideologies, working with the police, law enforcement, going to the Navy? He have ambitions and goals. So, that's an asset to us. And if I could, Doctor, if I could give our webpage and website.
Absolutely.
Follow us, man. We like those going to our webpage at www.elitetalent.biz. You can follow us on Instagram at elitetalent.biz. You can also find us at Twitter, elitetalent.biz. That's www.elite, one word, E-L-I-T-E, talent, Talent.biz. B as in Bravo, I as in intelligent, Z as in zoo. And I would also like to thank Dr. Paul for allowing us this platform to come out and just showcase this and just put this information out there. Somebody that's a trailblazer who's not afraid of the masses. That's what I respect the most about Dr. Paul. He's not afraid of the public opinion. He's for what's right.
Right.
Man, I really commend you and thank you for that.
So God bless, man, and we got other kids, we got other work. Bobby, we got work to do. Darriel, you have one thing to do, and that is to blaze and be, and make your trail, and that's important. And I'm so glad and blessed to even met you and know you, and we got more things to work on. So God bless, my brother.
Thank you. Same to you. I'm glad to be here.